Well, good morning and welcome to CityLine. We are in my kitchen via Zoom and we have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Philip Cowan. He is the Executive Director of the Grand Cinema, and we get to find out what they have been up to during this time of COVID. Symphony Tacoma is here. Sarah Ioannidis is here with Mary Jensen. And Mary Jensen is one of their principal flautists, and she has a beautiful little segment she's going to play for us. Miriam Barnett is here from the YWCA talking about the domestic services that are still available and confidential with the YWCA during this time. The Humane Society is here with their pet of the week. With me right now, I have Alexis Eykel. She is the Landlord Liaison Program Manager. Hello, Alexis.
Hi, thanks for inviting us.
Great to have you here. And with us also is Mark Melsness. You are the owner of Spinnaker Property Management. Welcome to CityLine, Mark.
I am. Thanks for having me.
Alexis, for people who do not know what the Landlord Liaison Program is, and more than ever, we need to know that. What is it, my dear?
So the Landlord Liaison Program is an amazing program that agreed to utilize alternative screening criteria for people with high barriers that are experiencing homelessness. And so we've developed really strong partnerships with a lot of landlords, and it's been really successful. And my main goal is to provide those landlords support. The clients that are accessing homeless services have a ton of support from their case managers, and landlords sometimes take on case management roles when they work with people who have higher barriers. And so it's pretty much up to the Landlord Liaison Program to support them, and also the case managers that are working with Landlord Liaison Program.
So Alexis, when you say high barriers, can you define that for us?
Yeah, so high barriers might be like somebody who has an eviction on their record, or may not have a good rental history, things like that. And they may not be able to get housing otherwise through any other means, or they've been denied multiple times, and things like that.
So that's who the program is designed for.
Yes.
So how many landlords are currently partnering with the Landlord Liaison Program?
So we have over 100 landlords that are partnering with us. And we have about 65 smaller landlords and property management companies. And with the property management companies, we include the individual owners of the homes as landlords that partner with us as well.
Wow, that is impressive. So when you think of those 100 landlords, how many people does that equate to that have been housed through the Landlord Liaison Program?
So since our launch, I figure we've housed close to 200 individuals through the units that landlords have provided, so people can utilize secondary screening criteria.
Wow, that is impressive. 200 individuals that have barriers that I'm going to say, if it wasn't for this program, may not have a place to live. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree. And unfortunately, most of the people who are accessing the units have been turned down for other units outside of Landlord Liaison Program. And one thing I didn't mention is our risk mitigation funding that we have. The county executive advocated strongly for Pierce County to have risk mitigation funds. And so those funds complement the state's risk mitigation funding, just in case there are damages above and beyond the damage deposit and things like that. So landlords have a cushion to fall back on if anything happens.
Boy, that's a nice peace of mind for those landlords. Mr. Mark, you are one of those landlords. From your point of view, would you please tell us what's the value in partnering with the Landlord Liaison Program?
Well, it's just an expansion of the service that we offer our owner clients that hire us to manage their investments, to seek out and find good quality people who don't only fulfill the payment side of the agreement of living there, but they also take care of the home while they're there. And if we can do that in the world of affordable or low income housing that gets the owner exactly what they have the property for, and we also get to create an extra value and service to our community, well, it's definitely a win-win.
Boy, you described that beautifully. So I know that we have landlords who are watching this right now, and they may have their own thought bubble up there about, I don't know, this could be difficult. What would you say to landlords who are on that proverbial fence about working with the Landlord Liaison Program?
Sure. Well, first of all, nothing's perfect. And this program has been around a few times to actually, with me and Spinnaker, along with Landlord Liaison Program and Alexis and her team, to work out a lot of the kinks. And the value for the landlord is that you actually get your risk mitigated by funds that are paid upfront and held in the deposit. And if that doesn't cover all the losses or damages at the time of move out, you also have access to the Pierce County loss mitigation funds up to $5,000, and then additionally to the state. So it is a little bit of paperwork, and there is a lot of funds and cash available to minimize and mitigate that risk.
You know, and Mark, as you're talking, I was just thinking about just the kindness and the goodness that this program ripple effects through our community, because it also gives people, as Alexis said, that have those high barriers, another chance to perhaps have a better experience this time renting than they had for what other reason before that. And it also takes some of those houses that may sit empty, because we know that Tacoma has a housing shortage right now for people with high barriers, and it makes them accessible. So as you said, it's that win-win.
Yeah. And then the long out future look is that as we work and concentrate on the low income and affordable housing realm and get people to step into that, they have for a time work and operate in that realm and successfully establish good rental history, employment, and payment on other things that build up their credit and their wage. And then they get a step from that realm into the affordable or the conventional, leaving that home affordable or available for the people who are now coming into that program. And it really does progress and escalate that way. It's awesome.
What a beautiful springboard for them. What a gift. Alexis, there is something called Renters Readiness Certification. Say that 10 times. What is it?
So, Renters Readiness Certification is an amazing program for people who are accessing our units through our housing bank. And we've even had landlords attend. We've had case managers attend. And it is a 3-session class. And once people attend all 3 sessions, they get a certification. And the first session is landlord-tenant relationships, and that's taught by Mark. And that's a 3-hour class. And the second class is taught by Vadis, and it's called Accessing Community Resources. So people can get some different ideas about, like food banks or places to go get toys during Christmas time, so they have the ability to pay their rent. And it's just really helpful. And the third session is taught by Sound Outreach, and it's also a 3-hour class, and it's about financial empowerment. How to check your credit score, how do you build your, financial resources, and things like that. And it's been really helpful. And again, we've had landlords actually attend the class as well, because there are a lot of landlords out there that don't understand landlord tenant laws, and Mark most definitely walks them through those.
Well, I mean, we talk about a full 180. That was a full 360, because you're giving them all these resources. And then you bring Brian and his team in from Sound Outreach, and they are fabulous, and help them understand about how to correct perhaps some of the financial wisdom that they weren't gifted with. I mean, many of us don't know about how to manage money because we weren't taught that. So you really are giving them the full meal deal of how to be successful. Alexis, you talked about that some of the landlords actually attend this. What is your experience working with landlords that may not understand the new landlord tenant laws as we speak?
And that's a really interesting question, because they just changed again because of the governor's eviction moratorium, I believe it's called. And so we have experience with really good-hearted landlords that may not speak English very well, and they don't understand landlord-tenant laws. And so we try to give them the tools in order to understand them more often. And we lean on Mark quite a bit to help educate those landlords. But a majority of our landlords that are members with Rental Housing Association of Washington, or NARPM, which is National Association of Residential Property Management Companies, or Mark, you're going to have to tell me what IRM means. I forgot exactly.
Institute of Real Estate Management.
Yes. And so when we are partnering with landlords who are a part of those organizations, they have ethical guidelines to follow. And so those are the most safest and healthiest landlords that we've worked with so far. And on the other hand, we've worked with some landlords that need some extra tools to be better landlords.
And that's kind of where Mark comes in. Mark, when you are talking to these landlords and trying to educate and enlighten them on resources for rental property owners, what is it that they need to be kept up to date on, and what's some of the feedback and the pushback you get?
And that's a really wide, and we don't have enough time to go into the details, but it's usually the newer laws that come out that seem complicated and just need to sit down and have an understanding of it. And as I work with Alexis and some of the associations and other management companies and with the legislators, we get to participate, and renters associations, we get to participate in the creation of those and be able to navigate through them very easily and successfully. So it can range from when to charge late fees, when to move on evictions, or when just to educate the renter on how to comply with the agreement. So it's all over the board and case by case. And more times than not, when I'm working with landlords and renters in the room together, which is really cool, at the same time, the renters get an idea, oh, that's what it's like on the landlord side. And the landlord goes, oh, that's what it's like on the renter side. Now there becomes a middle ground that was never experienced before. And they both start sharing, oh, that's what it's intended for. And then we start having really great conversations and communications that weren't there before.
I love what you just said, because there's a story behind both people. And once you can break down that fear and get them to talk to each other and acknowledge each other's deep-seated needs in that situation, then it turns into we're all more alike than we are different. Alexis and Mark, I can't wait to have you on the comfy couch in person. Thank you so much for being here today.